products, platform, and pipeline. What you need to be successful as a speaker, a consultant, a coach, a facilitator post-pandemic in 2021. If you don't have them, you don't have a business. So let's start. And I'm going to share from my own experience, and I'm going to show my products. My intent is not to be salesy to you, but it's just easier for you to for me to show my stuff, because if I show you somebody else's stuff, then there's IP issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to show you behind the curtains of my stuff, and this is just the way I've done it. Doesn't mean it's the right way, but hopefully it will either confirm what you're doing or inspire you to take some action. That's my frame for today. Products. I didn't have any. Right? No, I had my book, right? I had 2012, I wrote Self-Leadership, How to Become a More Successful, Efficient, and Effective Leader from the Inside Out. In 2016, I wrote it as a smaller book, which is easy to read, and that's the download that I offered you with the coaching. But in 2019, pre-pandemic, I thought what I'll do is I'll do a summit. I asked a bunch of people, would you speak on my summit? And this was 2019, so summits weren't everywhere. And I got people from industry, I got traders, business people, other speakers, and I got quite a lineup, as you can see. And I got Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, who's a friend and colleague of mine in the coaching space, as a bit of a headliner to hook people in. And I did this, and I didn't charge. I didn't charge. The classic is, you can come and watch it live for free. The platform I used was Facebook, and I brought everybody into a private Facebook group if they were coming, because what I needed to do to sell a product is I needed a pipeline. So I needed people who already had something of value from me. The key that you will hear from any online business is trust. Why would I hand over my credit card to you if I don't trust you? And the easiest way to generate trust is to demonstrate your authenticity and your value up front. Now, this was a brilliant idea for me, because I thought, well, how hard can it be to interview people? I'm a coach. I'm used to asking questions. Interviewing's brilliant. It's not that easy. I found I got better as I did more and more of the interviews. I got much more succinct at bringing out the value for the audience. But interviewing is a skill, and I highly recommend you get good at interviewing people in your area of domain expertise so that you can tell their stories as well as your own. It is, trust me, it's complicated. You've got to market, you've got to register, you've got to have a platform, you've got to be running these multiple live events. You pre-record them. You need to find software that will send stuff out scheduled and timed. There was a lot to do. I reached out and I got help. I found a guy in India to help me out. I negotiated a set price. He wasn't the first guy I reached out to. I reached out to a few people, but the platform that I was using was Kajabi. There are plenty of platforms out there. It's not the only one, but it was the most professional one at the time I made the decision. Brendan Burchard, who has a big online business, was using it at that time. He subsequently built his own, but I thought, well, okay, that's Kajabi, so I will invest my money. Now, I had friends who go, oh, Kajabi's too expensive. I'm not going to do that. What's a cheaper version? And I thought, that's the wrong mindset. My mindset is, yes, this is going to cost me some money up front, but I want to build a business. I don't want to build it on a weak foundation. So a key here is, are you a professional speaker? Are you investing in your processes, in your platforms? So I was happy to spend the money. Now, I have bootstrapped my business. I know it's difficult, but at this point in my business, I was like, well, what's the best? Okay, I'll buy that. So that was Kajabi. And I went on the Kajabi Facebook group and I noticed who was answering the questions intelligently. And I spotted this guy who was contributing just enough. And I contacted him and I said, well, would you help me build this? And he said, yeah, I could do that. I could build the Kajabi pages. I could build the pipeline. But what I'm really interested in is being your chief marketing officer for the next 3 months. And I went, oh man, that is a good response. You want to partner with me to build this. And he was more expensive than anybody else, but that line in itself convinced me that that's what I wanted. And I think we need to have that kind of level of confidence with our clients. Yeah, you can hire me, but I want to be your partner in delivering a result. I thought that was a great sale. Anyway, so that was where I started, was with a summit. And then from that summit, and in fact, that summit is, that's the second product here. This is inside my Kajabi list of products. This is a little out of date. I've got a couple more products now, but there's the Self-Leadership Accelerator, which I've made available to you for $7. Selfleadership.com/SLA. And that was my first one. And I was horrible in front of a camera. Well, I thought I was. I have asked my back-end people, do you want me to record it? And they said, no, not if somebody's going to pay you to re-record it. And that's the key thing. You've just got to get started. I'm better with a camera now. I hope I am. I got some coaching around looking into the camera. And the interesting thing is I get lots of feedback from people saying, it's a fantastic product, changed my life. It was awesome. Thank you so much. So it doesn't have to be perfect, and that's a key lesson for the perfectionists. So those are my list of products. This is inside one product, the Executive Presence Accelerator. This is a $997 product, and this was my second product that I built. And how did I build that? Well, I went out, I marketed to a group of people and said, I'm going to do an Executive Presence Accelerator. I'm going to show you how you can grow your executive presence. I'm looking for 12 people. 997, it's live. I'm only looking for 12 people. And I marketed to, well, I already had that group, didn't I? I had the inner circle that I had built from the summit, plus I had all of my LinkedIn and my Facebook connections. And I signed up 20 people. 20 times $997 is $20,000. That's a couple of speeches, right? So it's worth my effort. But I hadn't written a line of the course. See, I had struggled with writing a course if I didn't have a client. When somebody says, I want you to do a speech in 2 weeks on this, you get furiously on your deck and you write the speech because there's payday. But when I had sold this program, I knew there was a payday and I didn't have the program, so I started writing furiously. And you can see there's 6 lessons and a graduation. And the first one is create your own frame. Now, you've seen some of that material this morning in a later version of that. So I knew I had that. So I had the first lesson, and then I started writing the second and third lesson. So then I had this recording, and I had everybody sign a waiver and say, we're going to use this recording, and then it's a product. And now I can sell it as an evergreen product. It's $997. And if somebody doesn't want to buy my somewhat more expensive personal coaching, I can say, that's okay. I have a pre-recorded product for you. It's just $997, and you can take that, and you will still get transformation. Here's what the payment gateway in Kajabi looks like when you buy a platform. And as I said, when you look at platforms, does it host my videos? Can I post it? Does it have an email function? Now, it doesn't necessarily have to have one. When I got Kajabi, the email function was not great. So I paired it with ActiveCampaign Lite. I had previously used Infusionsoft, which those of us in the business called Confusionsoft. And so I moved my email marketing to ActiveCampaign, which allows me to set up programmed emails. And then I paired that with Kajabi, and I had a system. And so what you need is a payment gateway. And this is what the payment gateway looks like. And it goes through to Stripe. And then that money is sent into my Singapore bank account in different currencies. Now, is there a cost to having a payment gateway? Yes, it's just a cost of doing business. So people are coming onto my platform and buying my products. But you need to have a pipeline, right? So your LinkedIn, your Facebook posts need to go somewhere. You need a CTA, a call to action. And so when people contact me on LinkedIn and say, I'm interested in your coaching services, can we talk? I send them to a webinar first. It's 15 minutes. Now, the original webinar I recorded was 45 minutes, and I got software through this guy that was helping me out from India that mapped, where did I lose them? Did I lose them after the first 5 seconds, the first 30 seconds, the first 45 seconds, 15 minutes in, 20 minutes in? And I found that when prior to COVID, people would sit through a 45-minute webinar, which, as we know, was basically 5 minutes of content and 40 minutes of selling. But when we all got Zoom fatigue, I found 15 minutes was the sweet spot. If I gave enough content and a little sale to the end, and the sale to the end was really a 30-minute call with me, but then they had to go through a pre-qualifier. But the beauty of that is when I did get on a 30-minute call with somebody, they'd seen my material, they'd got some value, they knew what the price range was, and I wasn't wasting my time. So I was able to sell online coaching, or I was able to downsell to the Executive Presence Accelerator, or upsell to an individual sessions with me. So I had the small, medium, large. You could join a group session, which was once a week. You could downsell to a pre-recorded, or you could upsell and you get me in person. And so this is what the landing page for that looks like. If you're interested in checking it out, it's selfleadership.com/VSL. VSL /. And you can go through that and you can see how I put the webinar together. Now, just FYI, I think that was about the 50th iteration. You know, I would record it, I would put it out, we'd see what happened, it worked, it didn't work, we discovered where we lost them, we recorded a segment of it, we changed the closing, we changed the pricing, we changed the model, over and over and over again. How hard can it be? But that's the question, are you a professional? This morning in the first session, I showed you a clip of a TED talk I did in 2016, at which point I had been a professional speaker for 16, 17 years. How hard could it be to do a TED talk? They're only 18 minutes. I wrote that TED talk and rewrote it 18 times. I rehearsed it to make sure I was in the 18 minutes over 35 times. That's professionalism. And I'm not just saying that's about me, because that's what the people in my professional circle would do. You know, when you see somebody effortlessly do something and go, wow, they're really good, they rehearsed their butt off to do it. And it's the same on the online. You just don't think you can slap up a web page and it'll work. Sometimes it does, maybe you're lucky. But it's a roller coaster, and that's what I did. And I'm just preparing you. That's the level of commitment. But it's a business. We're professional speakers. We're entrepreneurs. We're constantly iterating. This is my blog. Somebody asked me about my move to Portugal, selfleadership.com/blog. Very simple. I write a blog every week. And if you go to the blog, this one, interestingly, Entrepreneurs, Options, and Opportunities is very similar to some of the stuff I shared with you in the first session. But at the bottom of the blog page is a form that takes you to that webinar. And so some people come to me through paid advertising. I will use paid advertising on Facebook and LinkedIn to drive traffic to the webinar, but also organically through my LinkedIn posts, and my blog posts. People come and they come through, and then they watch the webinar, then they book a call, and then I upsell them to being a client, or I wasted 30 minutes of my time, but I learned something new about somebody's problem that I could potentially solve in the future. Hi, I hope you enjoyed that content. I'm creating a lot more digital content, as you can see. So make sure that you click the subscribe button and the notification icon so that you don't miss any more of my insights and information on self-leadership, leadership, and becoming the best version of yourself.